Can you do this and still have your family intact? Can you do this and still not affect your marriage? Can you do this and still remain whole? And that's the perspective I want to chase after. Please do not look at this as soft, but look at this as smart, because the reality is I rather make $100,000 a year and be happy than make millions a year and be depressed because I'm a slave to my work. Woo! Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the brand new podcast, Talking with Tineo. I am your host. My name is Joshua Tineo, and I am so excited. My whole team is in the room right now, and they are listening in, and they are excited just as much as I am that you are listening to our hard work, that you are listening to topics that we're interested in, that you are listening to different discussions and just overall data that we're going to be releasing throughout this platform. And listen, let me tell you, we are excited. We have many different platforms out, whether it's, bringing content through our YouTube channel or through our social media platforms. We knew that we needed to establish and utilize some type of platform that we can literally just get on a microphone and just begin to speak about various amount of topics and a whole variety of themes and categories. And of course, it's all for one benefit. We are doing this holistically for you. That's right. We are doing it for you, the listener, the influencer, the entrepreneur, the single parent, the full-time job person, the person who is trying to, the visionary, the person who is trying to accomplish their dreams, the teacher, the leader, the pastor, the preacher, the business owner, the CEO. This is for all of you. The reason why I can mention so many different types of careers and so many different types of people is because I know that this content is not just relevant to many of the things that we all holistically go through, but I know that these are, and when I say these, I'm talking about all of the things that we're going to be talking about throughout this journey. I know it's going to invest towards your overall development as a person. Listen, before I even introduce myself, maybe you're hearing this and you have no idea who I am, which is most likely the case. I would like to first share the vision of this podcast and kind of make sure you have the right expectation for this podcast. This podcast has an assignment to educate, edify, and entertain. We want to entertain you. We want to have some fun. We want to engage in topics of culture. We want to talk about fun topics. We want to maybe even do some ranking. When I say ranking, we love movies, we love games, we love actors, we love all these different types of things. So we'll be ranking that throughout the entire journey of this podcast. But we like doing fun topics as well, not just straight topics where we're going too deep right away. We like to kind of wiggle our way around first, break the ice, so to speak. But we also want to edify and educate, meaning we care about your growth. We care about your development as a person, as a human being, as an individual that's overall trying to succeed. When we all come into the conclusion and when we understand this reality that no one on earth, at least in their right mind, wants to fail. No one on earth in their right mind wants to not see success and not see growth, development, and prosper. No one simply wakes up and says, all right, great, I can't wait to have a horrible day. You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of this podcast is going to succeed in just beginning to share some different tricks, hacks, and data and information on how to become a better human being, a better person, whether that's a better leader in business or in ministry, whether that's a better person when it comes to emotional intelligence, when it comes to IQ, when it comes to your intake, your retention. Maybe you're a student at a school and you want to grow and accelerate and scale your learning. This is going to be a podcast for you. Maybe you're a single parent and don't have much time, but nonetheless you have dreams that you want to do. I can relate with you. I have two kids. They're both 1 year old, two girls. I have a full-time job. I am a full-time husband, a full-time parent. I have businesses, and I'm a full-time pastor. We have different things that all of us have to do, but at the same time, we never have an excuse not to be who we want to be and not to do the things that we want to do. So we want to educate, we want to edify, and we want to entertain. And that is our mission and our assignment throughout this podcast. Listen, if you're listening to me, my name is Joshua Tineo. I'm your host. I'm also the founder of Talking with Tineo. Just a little bit about myself. Like I told you, I am a father and I am a husband. That is my number one thing over any business that I own, over any pastor or church that I oversee. Well, no matter what it is that I do, my number one responsibility and my number one honor on this earth, is one, to be a son of God. Two, is because I have a beautiful wife and I have beautiful family, that I have the great, beautiful responsibility of stewarding, of pushing and moving forward and loving and protecting. So first off, I would like to share that I am a husband to my wife, Sierra Tineo, my two daughters, Avia Jade and Amelia Bell. They are amazing. They're my world. I am also an entrepreneur. And the reason why I say I'm an entrepreneur over saying I'm simply a founder or COO of something is because an entrepreneur is somebody who is seeking multiple ventures, somebody who seeks business, somebody who seeks creating different opportunities where they can make income but also solve problems. And that is who I am. Currently, I have 3 businesses under my belt that are active, moving, and thriving. I am a COO and co-founder of a tech company called OrgBubble Co. I am the founder of Tineo & Co., a company that revolves around consulting of data leadership, and also Tineo Marketing, which is a marketing company. I am the executive pastor at Emmanuel Church, which is a local church pastored by my parents that has been pastored for over 24 years. It's a great church here in Providence, Rhode Island, and things are great. Life is amazing. I'm a business inspector also for the state part-time, and it's been great. Again, probably I should definitely throw this out there. What do you think, Chris? Should definitely throw out the fact that Here I Am Conference is a thing. Absolutely. If you don't know, you guys can't hear Chris's mic is muted currently, but I am a founder of a conference that happens annually called Here I Am Conference. It is a powerful conference. We teach on leadership. We teach the Bible. We teach on Jesus. And we just want to, have a good time and grow all together. It's been averaging 300 people. We've been doing it for 3 years and counting. Obviously, if you're hearing this, and maybe you're hearing this at a later date, right now it's 2020, and we're going throughout a global pandemic that kind of shocked all of us. Nobody knew this was coming. Nobody was prepared. So this all kind of caught us off guard. So this year we did not throw a conference. But yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. I hope to know more about yourself, whether that's through the comments or whether that's through the newsletter or through social media itself. I would love to engage and interact with you. So I know that was a little long intro, but listen, it was worth it because we're about to dive into a topic that it is beautiful. It is thick. That's what me and my friends call it. It has weight. It's something that I feel like can definitely change the landscape of your perspective and of your overall drive and decision making. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of today's podcast. Alrighty. So today we're going to be talking about can I versus should I? Can I versus should I? That is the topic of today's podcast. Can I versus should I? There are many things that I am capable of doing. I can do it. But the real question should also lie in the fact, should I do it? Should I do it? And I would love to start off by saying this, and maybe you should write this down wherever you can write this down. Maybe you're driving, or maybe you're currently cooking or doing something. Don't write this down. Just try to keep this in your memory bank here. But only because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. Only because you can start this business doesn't mean you should start that business. Only because you can go out with this person because you're single at the moment doesn't mean you should go out with that person because you're single at the moment. Only because you can doesn't mean you should. I am somebody that's all for pursuing your dreams. I am somebody who is all for, chasing after what your passion is. I am somebody who is for creating those businesses and starting those opportunities and finding those mentors and consuming as much information as you can. But at the same time, we have to recognize that today's culture is very chiseled and kind of molded for that of the people who want to pursue, can I do it? Can I do it? But they do not, and when I say they, I mean today's society, today's culture. It doesn't really point towards the direction of should you do it? Is it healthy for you right now? Can you sustain this? Can you do this and remain healthy mentally, physically, emotionally? Can you do this and still have your family intact? Can you do this and still not affect your marriage? Can you do this and still remain whole? And that's the perspective I want to chase after. Please do not look at this as soft, but look at this as smart, because the reality is I rather make $100,000 a year and be happy than make millions a year and be depressed because I'm a slave to my work. Woo! We are charismatic in this place. Listen, if we say something good, we're going to throw some stuff across the room. We love it, and we're going to focus on it. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the best ways I think we could identify or get overall awareness of what we can do and what we should do is by making sure we ask ourselves and figure out and identify what questions should I ask in order to know if I can do something, and what questions should I ask in order to know if I should do something. Let me give you some examples. Let me give you some questions. Again, if you're writing this down, boom, perfect, write it down. But again, if you're on the go, make sure you are hearing this. Maybe put the speed back to normal speed. Don't speed this up. That way you can catch the totality of what I'm about to say. But here are some questions. Let's start with can I? What questions should I ask in order to know if I can do something? Here's one. Do I have the time? Do I have the time? Listen, one thing that all human beings have in common. You know what, Chris? I'm about to unmute your mic. I need to hear your back up here because they want to hear you. Say hi, Chris.
What's up, everybody?
That's Chris right there. That is my main man. He is a college student at a great school here in Rhode Island called PC, Providence College. He is also an entrepreneur. He's part of my close team here. But ready? Everything. Let's see if you can guess this, Chris. Everything, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what country, no matter what class, lower class, middle class, upper class, there's one thing that we all have in common, besides the fact that we're human. But everyone on this earth, everything on this earth has one thing in common. What do you think that is?
Time.
You said it perfect. Come on. Time. We all have 24 hours in a day. Although you can go to another country or even another state here in the United States, and it can be even a different time zone. But guess what? It's 24 hours. It's 24 hours in a day. We all have the same amount of hours. So the real question that you have to realize is, do I have enough time left of what I'm doing? Do I have enough free time that I can dedicate towards this next venture or this next opportunity or this next relationship? The first question you should ask yourself, so in order to discern or in order to decide if you can do something, is to identify if you have the time. You do not want to become a slave to your work. And if it doesn't matter if you're passionate, it doesn't matter if you're in love with your work. Listen, believe me, everything I'm currently doing, and I'm doing a lot of things I love, I am passionate about, I am fully invested in these things. However, I had to realize, I had to sit down and make the decision and say, wait, do I have time to pursue all of these ventures? Do I have time to do this, to do that? You have to identify right from the beginning, do I have the capability of throwing this new opportunity or this new relationship or this new business venture or this new partnership or merger? Do I have the opportunity of with bringing this into my overall time management? Can I manage this? Do I have the hours in the day so I can spend on this while also spending time in rest? The second question I would say is, do I have the resources? Do I have the resources? Do I have the resources? What do I mean by resources? I mean resources such as financial assets. I also mean time. I also mean intellectual property. I mean, all of these different types of things. Do you have the resources? Do you have the team? Do you have the personnel? Do you have the people that can push you? Do you have all of the resources to be able to do a thing? Let me give you an example. If you're somebody who wants to flip properties and you're somebody that wants to go ahead and buy different buildings and buy different things, and you see that it's a very prosperous business right now, and it is. It's a very prosperous venture. However, if you don't have capital, if you don't have money, just to put it bluntly, if you don't have money, that job, that career currently for you is going to be very, very difficult. Why? Because you need the essence of flipping these properties, the essence of purchasing these properties, the essence of doing this type of real estate is that you need money. You need money in the bank. You need to be able to get these loans. You need to be able to purchase the properties. You need to be able to get the cash out. You need to be able to write that check. So you have to make sure that you actually have the resources to pursue. So again, the first question was, do I have the time? The second question, do I have the resources? Third, do I have the energy? My God, do I have the energy? I can't stress it enough. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the time in the world. But if you do not have the emotional energy, if you don't have the physical energy, if you don't have that energy that's required to fully invest and fully what's the word I'm looking for? Fully
immerse yourself.
Perfect. And this is why I turned your mic up. And if you don't have that energy to fully immerse yourself, then honestly, you shouldn't. You can't do it. You can't do it. You need the energy. You need that energy. You need that creative energy. You need that emotional energy, the thing that can get you up in the morning, the thing that can say, hey, instead of watching Netflix right now, I'm going to go ahead and do this. So if you want to ask yourself, can you do this? You have to ask, do I have the energy? Do I have, and this is the thing. You could have the energy, but keeping in mind, if let's say you have a full job currently, let's say you have some children that you need to spend time with, and you know that children, and this is speaking from experience, they're very taxing when it comes to mobility, and to overall physical energy and strength. So maybe you have kids, maybe you have a full-time job, maybe you have a lot of different things to do that can labor and that can truly mess with or dilute your strength and energy. If that's the case, you may have the energy for those things, but do you still have energy in reserve to do what it is you want to do?
Very good.
So, and the other question I would say, am I qualified to do this? So remember, this is all under the category of, can I do this? One of the questions that you should ask yourself in order to know if you can do it is, am I qualified to do this? Am I qualified to do this? Now, I am somebody who is truly, I don't think that the only people that should be getting involved in things are people who have, formal educations. Meaning, I don't think you need to have a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate in order to, one, speak your mind over a topic. I don't think you need to be a politician in order to talk about politics. I don't think that you need to have a business degree in order to start a business. I don't think you need to have a formal education in order to state your claim, in order to have some ideas. However, nonetheless, there are certain things that is going to require your homework, that is going to require your experience, that is going to require what's currently in your memory bank that can invest towards your overall development in that department or in that project. Are you qualified to be a consultant? I am a consultant of leadership and ministry. And the reason why I feel qualified is because not only have I been to programs that are training me up in those things, and not only have I had the mentorships, but I have literally been living in that realm of leadership for the past decade and more than that. So the reality is, we have to be able to make sure that if we're going to jump into an opportunity, that we are qualified, that we have the research, that we are not setting ourselves up for failure. Those are some of the questions under the category of can. Let's jump into should. What question should I ask in order to know if I should do something? Here's number one. Do I have interest? Am I even interested in this thing? Am I even interested in this project? Am I even interested in this idea? Am I even interested in literally looking at looking at this deeper? Am I interested at looking at the future of this thing, the potential of this thing, all that I could become in this thing? I feel like many people, Chris, literally get burned out because they merely were interested for a season.
Yeah.
It caught their attention. But we have to understand, if you're making a decision based off an emotion, if you're making emotional decisions, you're going to find yourself questioning every decision you make, every move you make, simply because the decision was founded upon or based upon an emotional one.
Yeah.
So the reality is, when I ask, are you interested, I dare to add, are you passionate about it? Is it something that you can see for the long haul? Is it something that you can see yourself building to the future and beyond? Don't do it if it's not an interest. Don't do it. Because, and you may say, oh, well, that's not even relevant. Why would I even want to do something I'm not interested in? Well, hear me. If I told you the many opportunities that I had to get involved into something that would make me great money, but I was not interested in, you'd be, for lack of a better word, flabbergasted. So in the same way, you may have some opportunities that can bring you great revenue. You may have some opportunities that can give you great influence. You may have some opportunities that can give you great fame. But if you're not interested, don't do it. Because although your revenue may rise, your influence may rise, your popularity may rise, your status may even rise, you're going to be doing something every day or involved into something that might ask for your time, that might ask for your energy, that might ask for your resources, and you're not fully committed. You're not fully invested. You're not fully interested. Second question, can I sustain this? Listen, I cannot stress it enough. Do not start something that you know you won't be able to finish. Do not start something that you won't be able to finish. Do you have a longevity plan for anything that you're trying to build, for anything that you're trying to plant, for anything that you're trying to invest in? Do you have a longevity plan? Now, this is speaking, I am a CEO and also a COO of different companies. I'm speaking from the perspective of leadership right now in this moment, but this can be relevant if you're a parent, if you're a student, if you're an influencer, whatever it may be, an entrepreneur, whatever the case. Can you sustain this? Do you have a longevity plan written? Meaning, do you have the vision statement for the next 5 to 10 years and beyond? Do you know what this thing can become? Have you sat down and counted the cost? Ooh. Have you sat down and literally evaluated the potential of the thing? You know what I'm saying? Yep. And many times we look at something of how it is now, but we don't look at what it could be.
Yes.
And because we don't look at what it could be, we are satisfied with what we see, and we never invest for it to become bigger because we never literally experimented or visioneered enough to see the potential of that product.
Come on.
And feel free to jump in this, Chris, whenever you have a point. But the thing is, if we want to sustain something, we have to be intentional about all of its weak spots, about all of its strong spots. We have to make sure that we have everything in place so that it can remain protected in any season, that it can remain protected no matter the crisis, no matter the situation or the circumstance. You have to make sure that it's something that you can sustain, meaning, let's say I'm 70 years old and I want to start a business. Even if you're 30 years old and you want to start a business, you should always, and this is the perspective of a leader, you should always have in mind your replacement. You should always have in mind your replacement. Don't die and have someone take up your position without you being the person who designed the transition. You need to design your transition. Don't let it just happen by default. So the reality is, plan your successor. Think about what the business can be. Think about what it should be. Think about the people in place that can sustain this even after you're gone and even while you're there. Prepare it so that it can last for the next 40 years. Pay attention to the trends and to the culture. Pay attention to the demand, because that way you'll always be relevant regardless of what's going on.
Yep. And I would also want to add, because we were talking about maybe trying to do something because it caught your eye,
Come on.
because a market is booming or a certain industry is booming, or this kind of activity is seems really good at the moment. But we were talking about this, that maybe many people can find themselves in a situation where maybe they were attracted to something because of how it seems, or how it seems that other people are benefiting from it, but because they are tacking on more responsibilities, more ventures, more activities, they're finding
Right.
themselves sustaining so much that they cannot scale, they cannot grow
Wow.
what they previously had.
Right.
Because let's say they previously had one business, or they previously had, a marriage or something like that. And now they're adding more to the plate.
Right.
And so they have less time, but now they have something they wanted to improve.
Wow.
So now they have to improve something with less time. And so
Wow.
it can be
good.
possible that maybe you should do this thing that you want to do, this thing that you want to start, but not right now.
Right.
Because you have maybe something that could get better, something that you could improve first, and then once you get that going, then you can move on to the next step.
That's amazing. And that literally highlights the point of, if you want to start something, you need to first identify, in order to start this, do I have to let go of what I'm currently holding
Yeah.
on to? Or can I still start this while still holding on to what I'm holding on to? And can I hold on to what I'm holding on to on a healthy basis? Can I still have the strength? Can I still have the capacity to hold this and continue moving forward, and also hold that and continue moving forward? So that's such a huge point. Many times we want to start other ventures, and by doing so, we forget what we used to do.
Come on.
We forget, that last project. We forget that last brainchild. We forget that last idea, simply because we've invested all towards a new idea. And Chris, you know me very well. You're in many of the meetings of when we're talking about strategy and ideas of what we can do. So you know all the things, not just of what we're doing now, but all the things that we're planning on doing soon. You know that I'm always working on so many projects, but you also see how I am preparing an infrastructure of delegation and an infrastructure of empowerment, so that I can afford to do something else. But let's keep it moving forward here, because there's so much good stuff to share. The next question I would ask, am I doing this? Remember, we're asking ourselves the question in order to know if we should do something. We passed that of can do something. We're asking should do something. Here's the next question. Am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Again, this kind of aligns to that of interest and passion, but you have to make sure that you are starting something, and that you are birthing something, and that you're investing in something that really matters to you, and that is based upon a great reason, a character reason, what's the word I'm looking for? A reason that's going to benefit not just you, but your family, that's going to benefit your health, that's going to benefit your future. Don't just make a decision simply because it sounds good, or simply because the money sounds good, or simply because the people sound good. No, you have to make a decision for all the right reasons. Now, your right reasons may be different than my right reasons, but nonetheless, we should be sitting down and identifying what are the right and wrong reasons in the first place. Go ahead and start that T chart and put on the left column, put everything that is the wrong reason to start this, but it sounds attractive nonetheless. And then put all of the right reasons to start this that sound, attractive nonetheless. So do that. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Another question, is this for me? Is this for me? Go ahead, Chris.
Well, actually, right before you move past the am I doing this for the right reasons?
Yep.
For example, podcasts are recently becoming more famous, more used. Like that medium, I guess, is kind of blowing up now.
Right.
And I know, for example, especially being so close to you, that doing something like a podcast is beneficial because you have so much to release. But
Right.
It's easy for someone to just think, because podcasts are blowing up, that they should immediately just start a podcast because of the success that the people that they look up to are experiencing right now. And maybe they're being urged to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, for example, in your case, that you literally have things to release, and you're not just doing this for money, and you're not just doing this, but you literally have content to release that we've just been enjoying, and that you could release into to everyone else, to your following, to other people. And so I think that also goes into the right reasons. Like, are you suited do this thing that you're about to do, or has the
Right.
wrong thing attracted you?
Real good. Come on, somebody. Ready? This is going to be the quote of the podcast. I want you to hear here. Burnout happens consistently to those who pursue the can I, but ignore the should I.
Woo!
Come on, somebody.
Yep.
Burnout happens consistently to those who pursue the can I, but ignore the should I. What do I mean by that? Many people are becoming victims of burnout simply because they're all pursuing all of the beautiful lights and colors that says, oh, I can do this, but ignore the should I do this.
on.
Hey, I'm capable, I'm willing, but are you able? Are you currently capable while remaining healthy? Able to do this? Can you follow through? Should you do this? Would it benefit you not just financially, but would it benefit you in every other spectrum? Why is being willing and able not enough? Woo! Maybe I should just start off by saying, hey, being willing and able is not enough. Many of us are willing and able to start something, but that does not mean we should. Only because, let's say I am single. Matter of fact, I don't even want to use myself as an example. Christian is actually single. Only because he's single and because he's willing and able to find his partner, because he's willing and able to find his girl, doesn't mean that, or for example, let's say he found someone and he's maybe interested. That does not necessarily mean he should further that relationship opportunity. It doesn't mean he should go ahead and start planting his feet on that ground and making it official. It doesn't mean he should continue to pursue it, because there are multiple factors you need to consider. Only because I have another great business idea, really great business idea, does not mean I should launch it. Like Christian was saying, doesn't mean I should launch it now. Can I keep it on the back burner? Of course. Can I keep it there on the waiting list? Yes. Write it down. I absolutely continue to feed that dream, but do not try to make it a reality while you're still dealing with a lot of things, because it will not turn out for your good. And this is why being willing and able is not enough, because you can literally be successful and still fail at the same time.
Come on, talk on that.
You can literally be successful and still fail at the same time. Josh, what do you mean? How is that possible? Well, if you look up your statistics, look up your research. If you look at the statistics of the amount of millionaires and billionaires that are committing suicide, you will be you would be surprised. You'll be shocked, because you can literally be a millionaire and still be depressed. You can have all the money in the world and still feel lonely. You can be a C-suite executive. You can be the CEO, the COO, the CTO, the CFO, and still have no time for you and your family. You can have influence and still be an absent parent. You can be applauded by many, but still be despised by your family and your loved ones. So we have to literally, and I feel like this is what we need to do. We need to determine the new standard and the new laws of being able.
Ooh, come on.
You said you're able to join. All right. What's the new standard of being able? Because again, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, this culture and this society is setting things up where if you can, do it. If you can, jump in. If you can, start this. If you can, invest in it. But the reality is, what are your standards of ability? What are your standards of capability? What are your standards of saying, hey, I'm able to do this? What does that look like? And I think we should answer that now. We have to teach people. And I feel like everybody who's hearing this has to join me in this. We have to teach ourselves while also teaching people the new standards when one is considered being able. Because the current standards right now don't even consider the priority of health, don't consider the priority of rest, of family time, of quality time, of investing in your overall serenity and peace of mind. They don't consider that. They don't even care about that. Yes, we have great movements about mental health, but the reality is, when we put things on a scale, the people who are pushing you to start stuff far outweigh that of mental health in many people in this current society, in this current culture. So the reality is, we need to begin to identify and put into our priority our health, our family, our rest, etc. What should be the new standard for being able? Let's write this down. This is one of the questions that you should ask in order to solidify your capability of doing something. Will rest be an option? Will rest be an option? Listen, When I say rest, I'm not talking about sleep. I'm not just talking about sleep. When I say rest, I'm talking about a getaway. I'm talking about literally dwelling for just a moment without having any responsibility.
Yep.
When I talk about rest, I'm talking about literally being able to just focus on your happiness, not even focus on the client, not focus on the customer, not focus on the product, not focus on the company, focus on yourself. And this goes even into the family. And the second question I would say is, can I still provide for my family without being absent from them? Hear me, that's so deep. Can you provide for your family without being absent from them? I can't tell you how many people, not just that I know, but that we all know because of social media, because of their popularity, their fame, that they are providing for their family like crazy, bringing so much money to the table, bringing great food to the table, providing, giving them the best. However, they're not present.
Yep.
They're not home. and I know my wife will prefer to see me home every day than to see a check every day. And the reality is when we begin to establish and clarify and bring to overall awareness what our priorities are, I think we will better make decisions that suit our overall health, suit our overall development as a person who's responsible for a family. Or maybe you're hearing this, you're single. You moved out, you're by yourself, you're independent. Well, the reality is, can you still rest? Can you still literally take a vacation? I know, Christian, I literally know CEOs by name who can't afford a break, who can't afford vacation, who can't because it's not because their team doesn't work great, but simply because there's not a culture of delegation of responsibility yet.
Yeah.
He doesn't see, or he or she doesn't see themselves in a place where they can literally say, you know what, let me spend a week in Mexico. Let me go to Cancun. Let me go to this place. Let me even go to my backyard and do some gardening. Let me spend time doing my hobbies. Let me read some books. Let me just literally kind of escape the overall dopamine hit. And let me just rest for a minute. Let me just focus on tranquility and serenity for a minute. Another question I would say is, can I sustain my new venture? Can you sustain it? Can you start and finish it?
Yes.
Can you start and continue to feed it and continue to nourish it and continue to steward it? Do you still have the strength? Because the thing is, you may have the strength to start it now, but that doesn't mean you might have the strength tomorrow.
Come on.
So you need to be able to identify, will my strength last for this specific assignment? And let me say this, and I'll give you 3 more points and then we'll finish up here. For those of you who are listening who want to start a new venture, who want to start a new project, a new business, whatever the case may be, here are some things that I personally would highly suggest. Never do it alone. I don't care how capable, how qualified, how experienced, how skillful you are. Don't do it alone. And I'm not even talking about always involving, co-owners and business partners, simply an accountability partner. Just set yourself up for success. There are many of us setting ourselves up for failure and disappointment simply because we think we can do it alone.
Yep.
And maybe you can do it alone, but maybe how long would that last? How long would that last? Don't do it alone. Find an accountability partner. Find somebody who would say, hey, how's it going with that project? How's it going with those books that you want to finish? I have a goal that I want to start reading 30 books a year. And I'm struggling with that. And Christian is in the room. Christian is one of my accountability partners when it comes to everything I do. So the reality is we need to find people. We need to create a circle that's going to push us, not literally pull us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need somebody who can literally point us to the right direction, even if it was our vision in the first place. And we think because it's our vision, we're the ones that are pointing, that we think we can't lose sight. Well, many times we can because we're focusing on so much. And then again, if you have many ideas, sit down, write a list of everything you want to do. But also then figure out, are you capable of doing it?
Yep.
Are you capable of doing it? Ask yourself these 2 questions. Can I do this? Can I do this? Do I have the time? Do I have the resources? Do I have the energy? Am I qualified? Can I do this? And then ask yourself, should I do this? Do I have passion in this? Can I sustain this? Do I have a longevity plan? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Is this for me? Can I do this while remaining healthy? these are the questions we need to ask ourselves so that we can not just see something to its end and see something to success, but that we can remain successful even when our product remains successful.
Yep.
Because there are many businesses that the product is successful,
Oh, wow.
but the owner is not.
Come on.
The product is successful, the business is successful, but the individuals are not. And what do I determine success? I determine somebody who's mentally healthy, somebody who is happy, somebody who is taken care of, somebody who is not a slave to their shift, who is not a slave to their paycheck, somebody who can literally enjoy life while still finding all of the blessings of work.
Come
and
on.
and see their job as a place of happiness and can rest and can afford to spend time with their family. That's who I see as a successful individual. So again, guys, can I versus should I? Ask yourself those questions. Maybe you can start something, but should you is the real question. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 1 of Talking with Tineo. This is Can I versus Should I, episode number 1. We got some more heat coming your way. Listen, check out our YouTube channel, Joshua Tineo, Joshua. Last name is Tineo. Check us out on YouTube. We're going to be dropping some great content very, very soon. So subscribe now. We have some great things coming up for all of you, and we can't wait to see you guys in the next episode of Talking with Tineo. Share this, like this, comment, please engage with us, help us out. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.